What's going on, guys? It's Jeremy from Hustle Life here, and today I have a very special guest. I have John with me, and John is a client SEO specialist, and he's got his own course, and he's done a ton of stuff with affiliate SEO and client SEO. So I just want to get him on today to kind of break down client SEO, because client SEO is something that I've really had an interest in from the very beginning, but I never really got to jump into it. So I have a bunch of questions just coming as a newbie. So John, thanks for coming out with us today.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me, Jeremy.
So I think one of the first problems people have when they're trying client SEO is, and I know the main sticking point for me was just getting started. So just, making the first phone call, putting yourself out there. So can you kind of tell me a bit about how you started with your client SEO business?
Yeah, I guess for me, I went through a lot of the pains of, how do I really put myself out there? And everybody's so dreaded of doing the phone calls. And I personally, I've seen a lot of people, they always talk about sending a lot of emails and things like that. But I just found the fastest way to really get in front of someone is to literally pick up the phone. And typically what I did is I kind of used a combination of things to get in front of someone. So I like to do something I kind of came up with. I call it the pay it forward method.
Right.
So traditionally what I did to get a lot of my clients when I first started, or at least get people interested in having a conversation, was I put together a video of something very basic. So an example might be I just type in plumber in Boston, right? Or plumber in, small city. And I go through the list. I find some things that maybe are good and bad about their website and their kind of what's going on with their presence. And I give them really a very honest and kind of transparent view of what's going on. So
right.
If their phone number is very prominent on their website, I'll point out and say, I like that it's easy to find your phone number and I can get in touch with you quickly.
Right.
And I'll point out anything that I can see that looks good or bad, and I'll kind of explain it in a way that it makes sense to someone who's not technical or doesn't understand this stuff. So some simple things to point out might be, if I type plumber in the city, you show up number 5 in the list, and someone's going to call your other competitors who are 4 spots above you probably before they call you.
Right.
Or do they have good reviews? Are they responding to the reviews? Is the website mobile friendly? Do they have an SSL certificate? That's something newer that now Google's making kind of mandatory for websites.
Right.
Tons of people don't have them still.
Right.
So just little things like that I'll kind of point out. I'll send off a video, and then I'll basically follow up with them with a phone call. And what it really comes down to is putting a lot of quality time into the approach. So a lot of people, you'll see them say in Facebook groups, I sent 1,000 emails, or I made X number of calls and nothing's working. And, they're just kind of hitting this more churn and burn, going through people like crazy. And they're not really doing anything to help them stand out or putting a lot of time into following up with the same person.
Right.
To give some context, I actually closed, this would be my biggest client I've closed. Someone found a resume I had out there, noted I did some SEO for a couple companies. I think I marked the resume as being, that I was essentially self-employed or whatever. Yeah. And I just hadn't updated it for a while. And I did this a few months back, and a local drum company that's actually nearby me in the state over in New Hampshire, they actually reached out and said, why don't we talk about SEO? I saw that you do that. And I ended up turning that into a conversation which kind of revolved around a lot of follow-up. And I had to convince them that, hey, if you want to move forward with this, this is what it's going to take. And it took a lot of making repeat phone calls, sending more emails, asking, hey, what do you think of this? And just really being really persistent with it. And I was able to close them for $3,800 a month.
Wow. That's amazing.
So the good thing about that too is a lot of people, they think, and I did this too when I first started, I went out and I read every resource there is about SEO, and I was going crazy, okay, this guy says do this, or this blog says this, and it's kind of general advice, everything was sort of applying to the same thing.
Right.
But what I realized was that the way to make money in client work is to get really good at sales. It's not to get good at what you do, because there's a ton of people who could fulfill the work for you. There's a ton of guys that know how to do this stuff. That's not the issue. The issue is getting someone to trust you to give you money, to actually help you work on their business and build their business. So what I basically realized was, why not focus my time on building trust with business owners and getting them to a point where they feel confident enough to pay me. And at the same point, I would then go out and find other people. I kind of ran through testing, and I tested different providers, white label services, all kinds of different things. And I found trustworthy providers that I know could actually deliver and get results for the clients.
Right.
So instead of, trying to build, like in my case, I didn't want to build this huge office. I wanted to work from home. I didn't want to manage all these employees. I just wanted to close sales, have money coming in every month, and then have someone else fulfilling it. And now that's allowed me to work with, I think now I've got about 7 or 8 clients, and I've kind of kept it at a minimum, honestly, on purpose. Right. Just so I'm not overbeared with tons of work and responsibility. And I have a partner that does pretty much all the work, and all I have to do is every month I basically am the guy sending an invoice and checking in with the client and saying, hey, here's the report, here's what we did for you, let's go over it.
Now, when you're just starting out, where do you get the confidence? Because I think what it comes down to, and what you're talking about, is you have to have confidence in order to be able to go into someone's office or give them a call and say, I want your business. And
yeah, I mean, the way that I kind of get around this, so I'll give you an example. So even this past year, or I think, it was last year, I said to myself, I'm going to try doing some client Facebook ads. So that was it's kind of all the rage right now. Everybody's talking about Facebook ads, and it's like a big thing. And I said, okay, why don't I approach a business? So I went in and I actually used their services first off. And then I offered, in return, I said, you know what, I'm looking for someone to do some trial stuff with. Being honest, this is all new to me. I'm not new to marketing, but here's some stuff that I'd like to try, but it would be on your budget, but I would be working for you for free. And they were very open to that. So it was like a huge advantage, the fact that I was going into their office, right? They're adjusting me because it was a chiropractor.
Okay.
And then I ran some ads, and I was able to test a ton of stuff. Like, I basically used $1,000 of their money, and I was able to test some different chatbots, different offers. I was able to set up something in ClickFunnels, learn about Facebook pixels, what kind of ad copy works, what doesn't work, learn about different ad sets and testing, like all the different things that involve around that. I would read articles and watch courses, but then I had kind of this test dummy that I was able to play with. I wasn't getting paid for it, but I was learning something in the process, and I was getting to use their money to kind of figure out what works.
Right.
And now I got something where I was able to figure out, if I want to go get leads for a chiropractor, I know that I could approach another chiropractor and be like, hey, I have a whole system for you that we can get leads for, $5-10 a lead. And, let's set something up, and, I'll help you get more business. And then I could charge them for that. So really what I would say, and the way I very first started out, was I literally went out to businesses that had really terrible websites. And you'd think even in 2018, this is like a fading thing, but there are still so many businesses that need, I was looking at a tow truck company's website yesterday. It was looked like it was built in 2010. So I basically told, I could go to him and be like, if that was someone I was approaching, right, I could call him and say, hey, I'm in the area. I always like to call people local because they're going to be much more willing to work with you.
Right.
I could just say something like, hey, I'm new to online marketing, and I'm just looking for someone that I can build them a free website. All you'd have to do is pay for your website hosting, and you could even make some money on the affiliate sale there if you want to do it that way.
Right.
And just build them a site. That's how you can learn how to do WordPress and get a feel for it.
See, I think that's an interesting approach, because what you're saying essentially is that you're starting off with a very low offer. So you're saying, well, it's not even a low offer, it's a free offer. And I think that's where a lot of people it works into the confidence thing, is that they think that they need to charge $500 a month. They need to charge $1,000 a month, or they're not doing it right. So I like your approach with really starting with a lowball number and then kind of earning their trust and building up a relationship with them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's really what it is, right? Because if, I'll give you another example, because I just did this one, right? Me and my wife are celebrating our wedding anniversary on Friday. So I went out and I wanted to do like a couples massage because she's never had a massage before, and I thought it'd be cool. I've never done a couples massage before,
Right.
so I went out and I called 5 businesses to like gauge pricing because I wanted, it's not cheap, right? Like some of them charge as much as $200.
Right.
So I found, and then of course I wanted to make sure one of them wasn't available that day. So I wanted to make sure I could get one that day, like at a good time, right before dinner, so we could do dinner after, kind of time, do the whole thing, make sure it was all good. And what I ended up doing was calling one business. They were on Groupon, and I said, "Hey, you know what? I saw you're on Groupon. Like, how much do they take from you? Every time you get a sale through it or whatever." And they were already really cheap on Groupon. And she's like, "Oh, well, we'll do it for it's like they take 50%." And I was like, "So you're basically doing the couples massage for like $60?" And I couldn't believe it, So what I ended up doing was offering to her. I said, "Well, tell you what, like, I'd love to barter with you. If I get like free massages, I'll help you build a new website and I'll help you with some ads so you can maybe get away from this or at least do it in addition to what you're already doing."
Cool.
And they were like all about it. So I went down there on Monday actually, and I sat with them for like an hour, right. And I went through like they didn't have control of their Google My Business listing. Their website is terrible. It literally for whatever platform it used, it only indexed the homepage. Right. So all the subpages on Google literally aren't seen by Google. It's just the homepage. Wow. So that was a huge issue. It's not mobile friendly. It was using some weird proprietary system that, it's not WordPress. It's very, it just didn't look great. It looked very dated. So I offered to her, I said, "Look, you're going to cover my massage on Friday. I'll buy you a nice WordPress theme. Here's a bunch of them." And she sent me some info for an ad they want to run this coming, holiday through to like November, December, Thanksgiving.
Is that a
Christmas.
Facebook ad?
What's that?
Was that a Facebook ad they were trying to run?
Yeah, a Facebook ad that they want to run. So I'm going to help them with all of that. And I figure, if I get, I've never done this, right, for a med spa, like massage therapy kind of place. But let's say I get them amazing results and I know like what's working, what's not. Now I'm going to, again, be able to kind of use their budget. And I'm going into it with, in this particular case, not so much of a money, like upfront money scenario, obviously, but it's still about trust, right? And now imagine this woman probably knows a ton of other businesses. She could refer me all over the place.
Right. Now
and that's where it's going to build up,
How big is referrals in your client SEO business?
For me, it's actually hasn't been an area I've focused on all that much. It's probably been a gap for me. I've had some guys say, "Yeah, like I'm going to refer you," and I haven't really put a good program in place. I probably should be a little bit more on top of it.
Right.
I have one big client I've been working with for like 2 years, and he's passed me a couple guys, but none of them really like worked out or they weren't very serious. So it's kind of been one of those things. I think, if you're willing to put some energy into it or make a really good offer, it could really work and be a huge opportunity. I just haven't taken advantage of it the way I probably should have.
Right. So other than phone calls and actually using the service, which those are two things, obviously the phone calls is everyone knows about that, but actually using their service first and then offering them, a free website or something like that. What are some other kind of techniques that you've used to kind of lead gen your business?
Another thing that I recently did at landing me $1,000 client was I went into a very niche Facebook group and I just started dropping some live videos where I showed some semi-technical stuff or things that were like I knew that they wouldn't be doing, right? Like a live video on, hey, like this is important. The SSL certificate is a big deal. Another video on something else. And then I watched to see what kinds of things people were posting. And a lot of times people would be posting things like, how are you guys getting leads? Or what are you using for call tracking? Right. Or, is this working for you? Or such and such. And I would go and PM those people, friend them, and then I'd send them a video and be like, hey, I just wanted to introduce myself, send them a nice introduction video. And I was able to do this with a guy, really cool guy. Like we've even chatted about other things, like in regards to, we both like read a book about personal finance from, I forget the guy's name. He's a big name, like guy who teaches, I think Dave Ramsey is his name.
Okay.
He's got like a personal finance book, very popular stuff. So it was like common ground. We were able to chat about that and get on like a little bit more of a trusting friendship level.
Right.
And I just got off the phone with him today too. And, he's now paid me $1,250 to start month 1 of SEO.
Nice.
I've got my partner working on it, and this guy like full on trusts me to get him results, and he's excited, and he's ready to ramp up and get it moving. So I found him from a Facebook group, just because I went in there and started offering value and reached out and tried, basically it was just helpful, right?
Right. That's another good strategy too. And I've heard that before, but I just never got into reaching out to local businesses like that, because where I come from and like my specialty is kind of the affiliate marketing game, and that's been going well for me. So I haven't had to kind of lean into client work quite yet, but I feel that client work perhaps can be more stable, and it's an actual business as opposed to some affiliate stuff. If you lose your rankings with Google, then that can be done, right? Whereas if you have some contracts in place with clients, and you're guaranteed a certain income until that contract expires. So
yeah, exactly.
So one question I had is, because you come from an affiliate and a client background, what do you see as the biggest difference between trying to rank for affiliate sites versus trying to rank for client sites?
I mean, I guess the biggest thing really is how you approach it, right? Like if you look at what some guys like, say, Greg Jeffries, I know because we have common ground there, like he's doing more like kind of churn and burn in some cases where they're just kind of getting up sites that will rank quickly and using a lot of long tail strategy, long tail keywords.
Sure.
In terms of like what some other guys might be doing, you see a lot of wealthy affiliate blogs where they're doing a lot of review style posts, very like targeted keywords where they're reviewing various products, all of that nature. I think that's a good, more long-term strategy, but again, it's not something that's going to happen overnight. It kind of depends on the way you look at it, like then you've got other guys that are building really sub-niche sites. Like I have a site I usually share. I'm okay to share it publicly.
Right.
It's basically a site all about like clothing and anything related with clothing that has skulls on them.
Okay.
So it's very popular like around Halloween. It's set up as like an e-commerce store, so a lot of the traffic just gets redirected to Amazon, and I earn a commission on the sales.
Okay.
So that's it's kind of, I guess, depending on what you're doing. But I've found that with most of the affiliate stuff, it's just been something it's been very difficult to get moving. I think the best way that I've seen anybody do it, being honest, would be they go out and find products in the internet marketing space that they can promote. So this would be like lower end ticket stuff, like something you'd find on a jvzoo.com or Warrior Plus or the Warrior Forum. And you either do like product reviews that are real and legitimate after getting a review copy of those products.
Right.
You take it a step further and you interview those people, and you can build relationships with them, which can lead to bigger opportunities.
Right.
But the cool thing there is that you one of my good friends, Mike Thomas, he runs the Mike from Maine blog.
Mm-hmm.
He goes out and he's interviewed like over 1,000 people that launch products. Mm-hmm. So, that's in a sense like a very non-salesy way of doing affiliate marketing. It's kind of like he sends out an email and says, "Hey, today I interviewed John Che about his new like barter method for getting clients."
Right.
So it's not like, "Hey, go buy this course," and like really pushing them to do something like that.
Yeah,
it's very like a light,
wealthy affiliate type review blogs.
Yeah, and I mean that stuff is similar to that, I suppose. But the thing I don't like about a lot of those is they're kind of, sort of in a way like making it seem like every other product is bad, and that's the thing I don't like about it.
Yeah.
And I know not every guy does that, but I think it's something that a lot of the community, like a very large percentage of that community, does. So that's the thing I'm not a big fan of. But yeah, I mean, it really depends on how you want to approach it. There's so many ways to do affiliate, and I think there's a lot of opportunity there. I think the biggest thing is if you're going to do affiliate and you want to make a lot of money, would be to build an email list, because that's going to be an asset that you own. Right. So no one can take that away from you. Like Google can't shut down my email list,
Right.
Even if ActiveCampaign, which is what I use, decided today to like shut down my email list, I have them backed up. Like I could just upload them to some other platform,
Mm-hmm. With client work, I think that the biggest issue is, and one of the other things that kind of people get caught up on, is how they actually prove deliverables. I mean, what kind of system do you have set up where you're giving deliverables to clients? I mean, are you telling them like, I don't want to get into like the actual ranking strategy, but if let's say you're using PBNs as your main source of ranking, like how would you kind of include those kind of things in a client report?
So the way that we're doing it now with my partner, we kind of do, it's a little bit more customized to the client. So for example, what I'll do is we'll send them receipts of some of the links that we might buy, which are generally like directories, and we come up with a cost of what we're going to spend on links and other various things. So like last month, I have a mold remediation client, and we had an ebook written and posted up on Facebook to do an ad.
Oh, nice.
And I had a guest post done from the Hoth, which was expensive, but it's like $150 there, $50 here. I just kind of put all that stuff together and put it in a cost report. And then in addition, we take screenshots of their Google My Business stats. With new clients, we usually like to do a very, very brief rundown of like Majestic, trust flow, and citation flow metrics.
Okay.
It's a little more advanced stuff for some of those who don't know what this stuff is, but basically they're metrics that could just kind of determine, how trusted the site is in Google's eyes, like links that they're getting on other websites, things like that.
Right.
And we'll do like a before and after. I know we had one site, it was literally a brand new domain. It was a dentist that we're working on. Mm-hmm. And I think now, like if I were to even go in there off the top of my head, I think they've been boosted almost quite substantially. Like they were literally at 0 citation flow and trust flow. And I'm going to check it right now and just give you an idea. We've only been working on it for 2 months. And if I do a root domain search, they have trust flow 11, citation flow 14. And according to them, they show the 14 backlinks or 14 referring domains.
Okay.
So that's like the work that we've been putting into it. We went out and got them whatever it is, like press releases, other linkings, strategies.
Okay.
Any types of directories we can get. We got them listed, for example, on like usadentist.com, which may have been something we had to pay for. So we'll use some of our cost items to go towards that. And then we know that in the report. So we are putting a lot more time and energy into some of this. But again, like these clients aren't paying us like $300 a month, and we're just putting them into some run-of-the-mill like BS, like a lot of those other marketing agencies do.
Yeah. I know I've taken some client SEO courses, and they talk about, how to rank using PBNs, this and that. But just like basic things like what we just talked about today, like, you don't have to start off with $500 a month. Go out and do some free work, word of mouth referrals, like actually building a connection with people instead of just, spamming and sending out a blast of emails every day.
Yep.
And then also with reporting, like, now you're taking their money, but they're going to want to see something afterwards. So they're going to want to know that their $500,000 every month is actually going towards something, because a lot of people aren't going to be cool with saying, oh, no, just wait and you'll see the rankings improve in 3 months. Like that's not a very, that's a good way to piss off a lot of people. So,
exactly.
So yeah, I think this is, that answered a lot of my questions, and that's kind of just hearing you talk about all this stuff kind of has given me confidence to make me want to pick up the phone and start calling up people, because, if my affiliate sites start going down the next day, I'm going to be jumping right into client work. So I appreciate all the time and all the tips today, John.
Yeah, no problem. Again, if anyone has questions, feel free to reach out. My blog is noshameincome.com.
And your YouTube channel, which I love, but I hear you're kind of putting a pause on it.
Yeah, for right now, just trying to maintain. I watched. I'll kind of leave you guys with this. Depending on what you're working on. I know when you start out in internet marketing, especially this day and age, if you're just starting out, there's so much going on in the space and so many things that you could be doing. Right, that you're being thrown a million things. Once you start following people, You're going to get all kinds of opportunities just thrown at you in Facebook ads and blogs, and everything that you're going to get consumed by it literally will eat you alive if you let it. Yeah. And I drew what I called like the circle of focus, and I didn't invent this, but basically take all the things that you're working on and just kind of break them up into a pie. So in my case, I had client work. I was doing YouTube. I was trying to sell an online course, and then I was also trying to do like one other thing. I don't even remember what it was, but and then I have all these other kind of like what I call lingering assets. I had all this stuff like different niche affiliate sites, software, other things that I've built or worked on over the years, and it's just way too much. Like if I try to do it all, then I'm going to get basically bad results everywhere. So I decided to split it in half and just say I'm going to be just doing some sales for a company selling client SEO. My current guy is kind of maxed out, so I decided I'm going to do sales for a business that actually can provide, and they're paying me just to be calling people, so I don't even have to make a sale, and I'm still getting paid.
Right.
And then I'm also working on some local kind of lead generation websites where I sell leads to businesses.
Nice.
So that's really just the two things I'm going to work on for a little while, or is the best I can is where I've been trying to focus my energy.
Cool, man. Well, we're going to leave a link to your client SEO course, and I recommend everyone check it out, because I'm actually I'm gonna check it out as well, because it's something that the way you approach this kind of work is honest. And just from being a fan of yours for the past year or so, I know that you really provide a lot of value just on your YouTube channel and your blog. So I definitely recommend everyone check that out.
Yeah, thanks, and thanks again for having me.
Anyways, guys, that's it for today's show. So make sure you come back and subscribe to the channel. Like this video, and if you guys have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section below.